Hey guys, my name is Erin Sharoni. You might know me from sports television or from the biotech startup world, or if you are into dance music, from the DJ world. And we've actually got a guest today who is just as much of a Renaissance man, so I'm very excited about that. This is the hashtag SportsConf, and today I'm going to interview Andre Iguodala of the Golden State Warriors. Now, since this is an online event focused on exploring the convergence of sports, media, and tech, we couldn't think of a better and more appropriate athlete to have join us. He's known on Twitter simply as @Andre, which we're going to talk about, and he is a former NBA All-Star, Olympic gold medalist, devoted husband and dad, aspiring investor and business exec, and one of the more tech-savvy athletes around. So I'm really excited to hear about his opinion on all that stuff. Now, while he makes his living on the court, he's also a tech entrepreneur in the making who's focused on his life after his playing days, which is smart, and that's part of the reason that he decided to forego more lucrative offers to play with the Golden State Warriors so he could be at the heart of Silicon Valley. Really interesting stuff. So we're going to pick his brain about the interplay of sports, business, tech, fashion, which he loves. Remember, guys, you can tweet any questions you might have for Andre using the hashtag SportsConf. Hashtag, sorry that was redundant, and join the conversation. Producer will throw those up here on screen for us to take a look at. So without further ado, Andre, thanks for joining.
I have never heard such an awesome introduction that you just gave for me. It was a bit of a stretch, but I'll take it today. I appreciate it.
Listen, I'm just speaking the facts, man. I didn't embellish anything.
Stretching the facts.
No, I never stretch. Who does that on television? Well, this is not television, but it's the television of the future, as we're going to talk about. But first, I promised everyone we would touch on how you got that really cool Twitter handle. You're just simply Andre. Everybody knows that it's hard to get a good Twitter handle. So, like, how did that happen?
Well, my old Twitter handle, my first one was AI9, and I was in Philadelphia, and I was getting beat up pretty badly in the mentions, so I had to leave Twitter for a minute. And then when I came back on, we did a contest through Facebook and some fans, and someone came with Mind of AI9, which was pretty interesting. I think I did that with Skull Candy, which I have their headphones right now. I endorse other products, so I guess that's my social media post for them for the week. I have to do like 1 or 2 a week or a month. So I fulfilled that obligation. And then I got Andre as a present from my business manager. And once I came out here and joined the Golden State Warriors, we started really reaching out to, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And, if you can get in one space, then, you pretty much catch on easier with the other companies. So I was able to get at Andre at Twitter and Instagram, even though they're pretty much rivals.
See, everyone, I told you he was really smart. Now, you're so efficient, too. You got your plug-in, you got the headphones on, you told us the story, you answered my question. You're a consummate pro, Andre.
Well, I'm old. I'm old, so I've seen it all and I've done it all in the sports world. 31's a very old age, so you pretty much get used to it.
All right, listen, we're like the same age, so that's not old. I'm disagreeing with you on that. But like I said, you're a smart guy, and I knew that because the last time that we met, and you may not remember this because you get interviewed a whole lot more times than I've interviewed you, but I sat down with you at CNBC and we talked about your love of tech and business. We actually talked about Apple stock, I think, and I remember being really impressed by your passion for and knowledge of that space. So when I heard that, you factored that decision, you used your passion to make your decision to go to the Bay Area and be near Silicon Valley. I thought that was really interesting. So for you personally, what's so attractive about that atmosphere and that environment?
Well, I think as you get a little bit older, you start to look at how can you have a perfect mix of on the court and off the court success. And for me, on the court came first. And there's a really dynamic group of guys on our team, and we have a great opportunity to try to win the NBA championship. But also, moving into the latter years of my career, how can I make an impact for myself, for my family, and kind of start building a legacy when basketball's over. So it was just perfect timing of this area. It's always been known for the Silicon Valley, the tech world, but it just meshed well at this particular moment with basketball, and it was, the timing was just there.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of timing, listen, you're on a roll, right? Having a great year. Obviously, the team's doing really well. I know that probably everybody watching has been following all that. But that said, what do you have any examples of opportunities that maybe wouldn't have been available to you had you not made that move specifically to that area, basketball aside?
Oh, definitely. Just I've been in many tech offices, many times. Was it yesterday? Yesterday before our night practice, I met with Twice, and there's been many articles about the company called Twice. It's basically a secondary market of clothing that's being used, and you can resell them through the company, and they've doubled. They've been around for about 2 or 3 years, and they're getting bigger and bigger. And there's been an article saying that they're going to challenge eBay one day. So, I'm trying my best to integrate myself within that space. And we have some big news actually coming out with that company. I've been able to go to Uber a few times. I've been to Twitter, and I met Dick Costello, who's the CEO there. We had a interview one another actually, so that was pretty good. And great great guy I've met out here in Silicon Valley has been Horowitz, and he's with Andreessen Horowitz venture capitalist company, and they've been nothing but help. And he's a big Warriors fan, so I would probably never had a chance to meet him and meet so many people that he knows in the tech world had it not come here.
Absolutely. And by the way, next time you're over there at the Twitter office, can you please tell them I want at Erin? I don't know who has it right now. Just
That might be difficult.
just throw that in there. I know you don't have anything else to do, Andre. But speaking of, so last time I talked to you, and I know this also from reading a couple articles recently, you're really into fashion. You've got this crazy shoe closet, which I'm extremely jealous of. And that's all really cool. And it's interesting because you're in Silicon Valley, you're in the tech space. Obviously, everybody knows that tech and fashion are converging big time right now. We're in this big wearables bubble, as some people might say.
Mm-hmm.
Google, Oakley, Fitbit, Tory Burch, everybody working together. Wearable tech, in particular in sports, is interesting. It's changing the way we view the human body. NBA loves analytics. You're lucky enough to have a commissioner that's tech savvy, and he believes in that stuff. I work for a biotech startup, and we use big data that connects with wearables. So we're both very familiar with that. Is there anything that you've used in your practice and your training with your team that's really struck you as revolutionary?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of things that different teams are trying to implement to give them the edge and try to find out how they can maximize their players. Basically, how they can maximize their investment. It sounds bad, but it's just the reality of it. But we use a system called Catapult here, and it tracks our movements on the court. It tracks our loading, how much we're loading, accelerating, decelerating, with what type of loading on our muscles, and you kind of can find out guys who are getting tired. I pulled my hamstring last year, and with my recovery and my rehab, they used the catapult to kind of as a basis to see when I would be at full strength based on how I was before the injury. But the thing that's helped me a lot personally is the jawbone up band. And I had a situation where I hadn't been sleeping well my whole career. So from my rookie year to about my ninth year in the league, I was probably sleeping about 3-4 hours a night, and
Wow.
I really wouldn't get sleep until game days. I would take a really long nap, like 3 hours on game days, and that was pretty much my sleep. But 3 or 4 a.m. it was normal for me to just at that time just get into bed. So I used to jawbone up band to track my sleep. Got a new routine of taking naps and getting to bed, and it started with the jawbone, but it went to my diet. It went to what I was watching. The screen in my face at a certain time, cutting that out, and it's really helped me a whole lot being refreshed and energized for games.
Have you ever used any of those bodysuits, like the Athos bodysuit, that to track the data as well?
I have it. The only thing I've really used as far as suits or body things is the game ready's been around for a long time with the
Sure.
ice and pressure, and there's a few other boots that a lot of guys are using around the league to kind of flush out old blood and get in new circulation of blood in their legs.
Yeah, speaking of, well, I don't know if Game Ready segues into fashion at all because I've used Game Ready for my knee. I really want one at home, actually. They're kind of great. But we mentioned that you've got this crazy love for fashion, and there was just actually a really nice article that came out about that. So talk to me a little bit about that and where you see that taking you in your current career and then after basketball.
Well, fashion has just been something that it's just been in there since I was a kid. Growing up in where I'm from or in public school, it was always who had the new shoes, who had the new Jordans, or Penny Hardaways was big when I was coming up through middle school. So that was just that. How can you separate yourself from other people at school? So, and then my mom had a huge shoe collection, so I think it's just ingrained in me a little bit. Um, but I think once I got to the league, the dress code set in. Guys were always wanting to be creative, but when the dress code, guys kind of felt restricted, and they felt like we were just stuck in one lane as far as what we our dress had to be coming to games. So from there, I think it just evolved, and guys said, all right, we can take it and just tweak it a little bit, but still be within the rules and still express ourselves. So I think all the guys in the league have always been into fashion. But when the dress code came in, we kind of just had to move into that business world, but then just put our creative twist on it.
Yeah, and that's definitely a valid point because some guys are just into fashion for the fun and fashion that's what they enjoy, and some people like you are more business minded, I guess, and so looking for ways to move into a space that they love in a way that can be monetized. So, why do you think, if you have an opinion on this, why an increasing number of today's athletes are interested in angel investing, VCs, tech startups, not tech startups, any sort of startup really. But obviously, you're in that world out there in California.
Well, I think athletes have always been into investing or how to make the most return on their dollars. And if you just look at history, it slowly evolved to a more sophisticated type of investing. When guys first got in the league, there you see a lot of guys with record companies. You saw a lot of guys with car washes. You saw a lot of guys with barbershops.
All right.
Commercial buildings, with commercial real estates, and malls and things like that. So uh, as we getting into new generations and we're getting more information and we're like Adam Silver is more techie, and we're having these meetings with the NBPA and with the NBA, how to be smarter investors, because you hear a lot of horror stories with former athletes and losing their money. So guys are just getting smaller all across the board, and we're looking for new ways and different ways to make the most of uh, the success we've had on the court and make it last a lifetime or a few generations.
Now, I remember last time I spoke with you a couple of years ago, you had a cool backstory. So I'm going to ask you this question again for those that don't know. What led to your interest in, your fascination of tech stocks and venture capital? Because I know you had a couple of internships back in
Mm-hmm.
college. So tell
Mm-hmm.
people about that because I thought that was great.
Well, it really started from just dealing with a lot of different products and the consumer products we're using. And when Apple came out with the iPod, that was kind of like revolutionary at the time. Most guys had a CD player and then they had a CD booklet of 100 CDs. And you had to kind of lug it around everywhere. So when when the iPod came out, that kind of changed the game a little bit. So now you're buying these products, and then like anything else, you're trying to be the first one with it. So you're deeply into it, the product. So my business manager and I think I read an article saying if you took all the money from the iPad you bought, the iPod you bought, the iPhone you bought, and the MacBook you bought, it was like $5,000-6,000. If you put that in Apple stock at around 2000 and let's say 2006, and then you see where the stock is going now, you know you your investment is going up 5 times. It was that crazy. So that just kind of put things in perspective for me and just started getting more into stocks. And with my whether it be my business manager or my financial advisor, just wanting to dig deep more into it. So I had a internship with Bank of America, where I was able to shadow different parts of the job for like a week's time. So whether I was on the stock trading floor, or I was in the private investing, or I was with a mutual fund group, showing me how the ins and out worked. But the most productive day for me was following a VC guy, and we were able to test out it was the other electric car. It wasn't Tesla. There was another electric car that was hot at the moment. I cannot remember the name. It starts with a P, I think.
Okay.
And I was able to look at another up-and-coming company, and I basically saw his job was risk analysis. And for me, it was similar to being a general manager for an NBA team, where you have a company or a team, and you're trying to build it. And you have talent in certain areas, you have weakness in certain areas. You're recruiting to build the company, just like you're trying to build a basketball team up. So the two were comparable to me, and I always had a thing for wanting to build an NBA team, and the VC world just kind of seemed like it was something I would be interested in.
So safe to say you're following Apple's electric car building news very closely.
Yes, I did see that about 2 days ago. So very interested. But Google has a car too, right? The
Right.
driverless car. So who knows? But that's going to build for more traffic, I think, because they're going to go to speed limit and they're going to be in the way all the time. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to everything. Well, you can sleep in the car. You don't have to drive. So we'll see how it goes. They need the flying car. I just bring that up.
Yeah, we just all need to somehow teleport, basically, is what it's come down to. I mean, think about the CO2 emissions we'd save. Obviously, you're very well read. So for anybody watching that's interested maybe in becoming as savvy as you, what's your, in the morning with your coffee, if you drink coffee? You're out there, so you must drink coffee because everyone there drinks coffee. What's your go-to? Like, what do you read? For me, it's TechCrunch, but what is it for you?
Well, I think the thing about it is it's hard work with anything that you do. So a lot of people think that it just comes natural and it's easy, but I just kind of build habits within myself to want to always read, want to always pick up new information, and then just kind of building a solid team around me, people who can feed me that information when it's hard for me to find it, especially when you have a road trip, and the one we have 6-game road trip coming up Saturday, so it would be hard for me to just find news because I just don't have the time. But a business manager or my financial advisor, or even my agent, sometimes they just feed me different articles that I can read while I'm on the plane, or Twitter. I'm following TechCrunch, Business Insider, the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal is my homepage on my Safari, so whenever I open a Safari, it comes right up. I can just read a few things. So I just build certain habits to find the right news outlets to keep me up to speed on everything.
See, guys, if you want to be like Dre, got to read. That's really what it comes down to.
Yes,
they told you that at school, and it's true.
Yes. It definitely is.
You're obviously a techie. I don't know if you'd label yourself that or not, but I mean, as much of one as I am, at least. What's a technology that you can't live without? Like one piece of tech that you can't live without?
Tech that I can't live without?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say. I might be contractually get in trouble for this.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. I can't live without my my iPhone. It pretty much has everything I need on it, whether it's my golf fantasy league I'm in. I'm big into golf, so I'm keeping up with the scores of the rounds. And my guy I picked this week, I think he's almost out of it after the first day, so that's not good.
Who did you pick?
This week I forgot his name. That's how bad he did today. I picked Bill Haas, but Bill Haas is expecting a baby this weekend, so I had to change my pick because it's not good to pick a golfer who's expecting a baby because they can just leave the tournament.
Yeah, no.
But he played well today. I picked Robert Streb, who has like 5 top 10 finishes this year already, but he shot 4 over today, so hopefully he gets it back tomorrow. Who knows? Dude,
fantasy golf. You are a nerd after my own heart.
I know. But I always say I'm a nerd.
It's a good thing.
When you say, it just sounds worse when other people say it about you, but I know deep down I am.
No. Listen, we're the same age. Remember when we were in like the 80s, it wasn't as cool, they made fun of nerds, but now you got the Big Bang Theory, all the nerds are making money.
One of my favorite shows. Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, Sheldon's my guy.
Me too. I always say I'm a Sheldon with long hair, and he's not. Well, actually, I can't really say what I say on air, so I'll just leave that alone. I don't know how much more time we've got left, so I'm going to wait until they stop me, and I'm checking to see if we have any questions from the audience. But if not, I'll I'll just keep going. So we talked about the stock market a little bit. And last time I spoke with you, I know we talked a lot about Apple stock. Are there any stocks that you're watching in particular? Any stocks that you own that you thought were like one of the best plays that you made? I mean, you seem really into that. So
Yeah, I think it's just you just get strong companies who are going to last a long time, and you have confidence in them. So Apple was definitely one stock. Um, Nike is another stock. It just seems like they just kind of have a foot on the athletic apparel market, and they're just not letting up.
yeah.
Tesla is a very interesting company. You know, I know their stock's been down a little bit, but I was able to meet Elon Musk. Yeah, another thing, another guy I met out here. I was able to go to the factories up the road. He's a very interesting guy, but like Tesla's like his stepchild because he's really into the space world. But I actually put an order in for the Tesla SUV, so I'm really following that stock. And he's supposed to have a railway from San Francisco to LA, and I'm really interested to see if that actually goes up because I think it would take you how long to get 30 minutes, 20 minutes to get to LA from San Fran, which would be crazy.
I'm growing increasingly jealous of you as our conversation progresses because as your fellow Sheldon Cooper nerd, you're naming all of my idols. So you're very lucky to have met them. And I would like a Tesla too. So you let me know how that SUV works. I didn't know they were coming out with an SUV actually.
Yes, you can actually go on the website. They will show you the doors. Like going doors is kind of crazy. You gotta see it. It's hard to explain. It's crazy.
Very cool. Now, did you talk to Elon Musk about the space stuff at all? Because that's my other obsession. So I'm curious. Like, can we expect to see Andre Iguodala going to Mars soon?
No, no way. I feel like God put me here to stay on Earth and not go too far from it. So, airplane from here to China is about as far as I go.
Listen, if he offers you a seat, just give the ticket to me instead, because I
I
definitely
got
want to go.
you. I got
And I'll bring my dog, which I know you're afraid of, or not a fan. You're not a fan of dogs, right?
you. I got chased by a lot of dogs as a kid, so that fear will never go away.
I've got to send you this article. I think it was actually in TechCrunch. Have you seen the new robotic dogs? Maybe that's more your speed.
And then that's like iRobot though. It seems like all these old movies, they're bringing them to life for real. So I don't know if I'm a big fan of that either.
It's Back to the Future, man. Everything that
Yes.
they thought of is coming back. You just need a DeLorean, actually. All right, we do have a question here. Somebody wants to know if you are into gaming like other athletes, and if you have any thoughts on the rapid growth and popularity of esports, especially compared to mainstream sports.
I used to be a really big gamer, and pretty much college football. Tiger Woods, golf was my game, and of course NBA 2K. Those were pretty
Yeah.
much the games that I played. But as I've gotten older and into the tech world and the fashion and um, doing so many other things, I haven't had as much time to play video games. My son plays video games, so he plays Skylanders and he plays NBA 2K, but I'm not good anymore, so I would get destroyed by regular gamers.
All right, fair answer. Oh yeah, and fashion, by the way, let's bring that back into it because I didn't ask you. Can we expect to see a fashion line or maybe a collaboration with someone from you in the future?
I would say a collaboration.
Okay.
Definitely not a line. I think the risk is just too risky for an athlete to try to put out a line. But collaborations I think are great, and you can get into something you really like, and if it goes successful, then you can start building a brand within that brand. So that would be something I would like to do.
There was a lot of buzz about an unnamed musician's new line that debuted at Fashion Week for Adidas. I don't know if you saw
Oh
that.
yeah. Kanye West shoe came out with Adidas, but
I
um,
wasn't. I was going to spare the guilty, but yeah, that's who it was.
yeah, I'm a Nike guy, so I have Kanye's previous Nike shoes. Which I think is it's hard to compete with Nike. They, like I said before, they have a stranglehold on the in the athletic apparel world. Kanye shoe had the resale value wasn't as high as a Nike shoe, so uh, The Nike Yeezys are still the Yeezy shoe, I would say.
I like how you frame your decisions in business. I like that. The resale value. Not
Well,
how comfortable was it, not how cool did it look.
right,
No, it's
right.
smart. I
But
like
there
it.
was there was a defect in the shoe too. I read as well. I'm big into shoes, so I follow all the shoe blogs too. Nice Kicks and Soul Collector and all those things. But I have a really good friend at Stance. His name's Clark Miyazaki. I keep dropping his name. He's gonna owe me some points on one of his companies, but he's with Stance right now. I actually dropped his name at the Legends brunch, so I think Rihanna has a line coming out with Stance, and yeah, we were talking about sneakers, and he was working for his own VC company too. So I have friends in that world too that we can just talk about things anytime we're around each other.
All right, so non-athletic apparel. So Nike aside, I know you're a Nike guy, but
Hmm.
high fashion. Who are some of your favorite designers? Like, who would you emulate if you had your own line?
It's so hard to name one because I think there's different, you get different trends, and they seem to go in and out of style quicker now than they used to. But I like timeless pieces, and like when you see Sinatra, you see the Rat Pack when they took pictures back in the day, and then you see the pictures today. You knew they were like really clean. Their suits were well tailored, so I like those looks. So I'm a big fan of Ralph Lauren. Big fan of Purple Label and Black Label, but you got a lot of street fashion places right now that are doing some good things. Givenchy is doing a lot of good things. Abasi Rosbro is a company not too many people have heard of, but they make some great denim jeans. Actually, the guy who started Rosbro of the company, we went to college together, so he makes a great product. Simon Spur was one of my favorite companies, but they went under. Uh, I don't know why, but that was one of my favorite companies. Who else? A lot of people like Rick Owens. Mr. Porter is my website when I want to see new fashion. So if you want to know what I like, just go to MrPorter.com. It's the male version of, I should say, Mr. Portier, as women would say. It's Meta Portier. My wife always reminds me I'm saying it wrong, but it's spelled Porter. So my mistake.
I like it. We'll leave it there with the fashion advice from @Andre on Twitter, which is, of course, where you can follow him. Thank you so much. This has been awesome. Please say hello to all my idols for me, and we could talk about Big Bang Theory next time.
Bazanga.
Bazinga! Bye.